could have been like 15 because we
It
were
could
almost
have. Yeah, we
It was
fucking,
like 35. We got off on a couple tangents.
Yeah, was
All
it 35 total episode or 35?
I think it was 35 total episode.
From talking.
All
I think
right.
it was 35 total with the talking. 'Cause I think we started at like 10:29, 10:30.
Okay.
I think the episode would be all right. I think the episode would be like 24, 25.
I think it's more like 30. But either way,
Maybe close to 30. You might be right.
Raul, this time when we get to like around the Golden State talk, just do like remember when you did with the Kyrie, like where do you guys think he's gonna go? Do that with like KD and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll just bust that. But yeah, we definitely could have.
But
We could have been
we've
way
got to be
quicker
though. We've got to be quicker on the game or the series.
Well, and what's going to happen is simple.
Well,
we
killed the
listen, real
series.
quick, keep your phones on you. I know Andy did that. Gary, keep your
Nah,
phone
we did
on.
kill the series actually, and then we fucking got long-winded on.
The other shit. Yeah.
All right, so I need to make this. Let's make this fucking 15 minutes. We can do it. All right. This is a very simple conversation.
15's our goal?
Dude, we can do it.
Let's aim for 20.
Let's aim for 15,
and we're gonna go 25.
All right.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Let's aim for 15. Keep your phones
Get it.
on. Keep your messenger on, because I'm gonna be messaging you saying like, "Hey, let's fucking
I
get
like
there."
the Peyton Manning voice, by the way.
Peyton Manning voice.
Hurry,
Yeah.
hurry!
Yeah. Yeah, dude, fucking Omaha, my guy.
Papa John's.
Papa
All right,
John.
so Nuggets, Trailblazers, and Houston, Golden State. All right.
We gave
Yeah,
almost
definitely do
no
Nuggets
love.
Trailblazers first.
We gave almost
I
no
would.
love to Raptor Sixers.
I know.
Yeah, but like the
This series
Sixers,
is
it's
fucking over
fucking
anyway.
the game's over. All right, it's fucking done.
It's
All right, all right.
Maybe.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, afternoon, good morning. Whenever it is that you're watching this episode, you are watching episode 15 of the Backyard Blitz, brought to you by Backyard Sports. My name is Raul Herrera. With me, as always, I got Gary Freeze. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm gonna be honest. I miss you saying good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever the fuck you're watching this. You need to bring that back. You got to bring it back.
I actually got a lot of shit about that.
From who?
It's just people, man.
Tell me
I
who
don't
to
know.
fight. Tell me who to fight.
Listen,
You got to bring it back.
you know what? I thought about it. I've come to a decision. If you have a problem with me saying whenever the fuck you're watching this, stop watching this. So whenever the fuck you're watching this episode,
Boom.
gang. Andy Flynn, how you doing this evening, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great, I suppose. I do like that you kind of, I don't want to say steal, but you kind of borrow the introductory line from the Truman Show.
Excellent.
Good morning. Good afternoon. And if I don't see you, good evening.
Right, something like that, you know. Although I prefer Me, Myself, and Irene when he first turns into Hank and he's sucking on the chick's tit. I like titty sucking.
All right, so now that we've gone off on that tangent,
Hey,
let's
we got
bring it
tits in here,
back.
so.
Let's just go ahead
We
and
got
fucking pull the reins a little bit on that one, and let's get into this Western Conference playoffs. So we are going to start with probably the less interesting one, and that's going to be the Nuggets in Portland, right? So I'm going to dive right into who I think is going to win, right? And it's partially is because I'm a little salty that my Spurs lost to the Nuggets. Partially because I'm a big Damian Lillard fan. So I'm going to go with the Trailblazers. I think they're going to pull off the W. I think they're going to get it done. All right. Listen, I see you getting worked up, Ginger. There is nothing going to bring your soul back. Just fucking get it through your head. Okay? Just get it through your
But
head.
somebody's going to email me from the fucking last show. You don't know.
Listen, look.
You don't work at FedEx.
All I'm going to tell you is that if you want to at me. The Trailblazers are going to take that series. All right? And that's on insert game name here. That's on Crip. Fuck it. It's on Crip. Anyways, Gary Freeze, who do you have to win that series?
That's on Crip, huh? That's a new one. I like it. This one's tough because it's been great. Like Dame, he's been, meme central. But The Joker is legit. And honestly, we talk a lot about overrated. I think the Joker might be the most underrated player in the league. I don't think he gets a lot of shine because he's in Denver, but honestly, like that dude is a playmaker from the 4-5 position. He he might be the slowest player in the league getting up and down the floor, but that dude just makes plays. And he's a triple double threat every night. I think Denver wants him to score more, and I think as a fan I want him to score more, but man, that dude makes fucking plays. I'm taking Denver in the series, but I don't feel really good about it. This series is so hotly contested. It's hard to pick, but I'm going to take Denver because of their ability to spread the floor a little more. Like Portland's playmaker plays the point guard position. Denver's playmaker plays the 4-5, and I think the ability to spread the floor just a little bit more might make a difference. Plus home court.
That's fair. I mean, and here's the thing. I think that there's a logical argument for either side. And I'm in no way, shape, or form sucking up to Denver. I'm just stating facts. I also disagree with your statement that the Joker is anywhere that he's the most underrated player in the NBA. I don't agree with that at all. We're not going to dive into that because we're going to be here all fucking night. However, I do agree that he is underrated. I will say that. Is he the most underrated? I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think that Damian Lillard has proven how underrated he's been with how clutch he's been in the postseason.
Damian Lillard is only underrated to casual fans, though.
Okay, not all of us, and I'm excluding me from the group that you and Andy are in. I am not a molecular analyzer of basketball. I never have been. I appreciate the game. I appreciate the fundamentals. But ultimately, you guys are able to break shit down in a way that I'm not. I'm more of the common fan. So I guess for you, you have your opinion, your backup, I have mine. Andy, what do you got on the idea of the Nuggets and the Blazers? Who's going to take that series?
Well, Raul, at the top of this topic, I think you almost got a little upset with me, talked about my lack of a soul. My reaction was actually because I picked Portland to win this series leading up. I have changed my mind since. He died. He fucking died. So I'm going with Denver, partially just because of what I've seen. Portland in that first round, they cleaned up a lot of the shit that I've seen from Portland in past years. And we've even seen it against OKC. But Portland came out against what is a more talented – Oklahoma City Thunder was a more talented team than Portland. They really were, top to bottom. And they beat them. And they cleaned up a lot of the things they've done in past years that's had, like, Damian Lillard being an underrated point guard. And I think Damian Lillard has really kind of inserted himself as a point guard. So – I had them beating Denver, and I think that's a little bit because I disrespect Denver, and I want to apologize right now for my disrespect for Denver.
Don't you dare apologize. But
I'm going to. You know what I think? Because I'm a Magic fan, and I watch the Magic so closely. I think Denver is a better version of the Magic. There's a lot of similarities, and I think that's why I count them out.
Vooch, Joker. I mean, that's the biggest one.
They don't have a flashy star. And the Vooch Joker thing, it's kind. I love Vooch. Joker's another level, but Vooch is very good player.
Joker though.
No, he is. I do think that in a sense they're the Orlando is a poor man's Denver, and that's why Denver's easy to forget because they don't have a Lillard, they don't have a Kyrie, a Harden, a LeBron, they don't have a KD.
Jamal Murray is like their star, and nobody could pick him out of a lineup.
And here's the thing: Jamal Murray only works because of Joker. I said a couple years ago that I think the most perfect player in the NBA to play with Russell Westbrook would be Nikola Jokic because of the way he passes from the center position, the way he's a Steven Adams who can play offense. And, that works for Murray
that's
because
the best comparison right there is to Steven Adams.
Right.
Absolutely.
Murray's a 2 guard playing the 1. So if you were relying on him to get you 8 assists a game, they would lose every game. And it's just not going to happen. So, I had Portland. I've changed my mind watching Denver play, and I think it's going to go 7. I do. I think the Blazers will win that game tomorrow. It'll probably be tonight when you guys are watching, but I do think it's going to go to Game 7, and I think it's a great series.
A question for you, Andy, and we talk a lot about this, like roster assembly and what players play well with other players. Has Denver quietly assembled like the perfect roster with the understanding that like Golden State's got the most talent, but is Denver the perfect roster in terms of the way players complement each other, 1 through maybe 8?
Yeah, they're the perfect storm. I don't think that kind of team can win you an NBA championship. It makes me sad to say that. Like I would love for that kind of team to win an NBA championship. I don't know. I think you need that overwhelming superstar scorer.
You answered my follow-on question. Can they win a championship without a superstar?
No, I don't think they.
I agree with you 100% though.
I don't think they can win in the next round.
That in today's NBA, you can win without a superstar. Period.
Gotta have one.
No, and listen, and I think Jokic is almost the closest thing you can get to a superstar at this point. I think he's getting there, but like I love the way that team plays. I think they're kind of almost like it's a different way, but they're like a Detroit Pistons. Those teams that won with Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, like they have there's a lot of creative space and there's a lot of continuity, but I don't think it gets it done in this day and age. And I enjoy watching them play, but I think they definitely lose in the next round.
Coach Malone is coming for Pop's throne is the best interview, though.
Listen, Coach Malone can suck a dick from the back, okay, and that's all day, okay, and that's
he's coming for the throne. That
get this guy off the air.
Phenomenal interview. That dude is a phenomenal interview.
Listen, I want it on record, and you can fucking at me all you want. Pop is that dude. Period. All right. Anyway,
Steve Kerr's a good interview too.
All right, so let's.
Steve Kerr is good, but Malone is.
Let's move into the less boring game, less boring series, and that's Houston and Golden State. So, Houston, Golden State. There's a lot of conversation about Golden State without Cousins. Harden, unfortunately, still traveling. Not much going on about that, but nothing's changed on that front. Andy, what do you think's going on there?
I mean, it's going on right now. Golden State's up by 7. By the time you guys watch this, the outcome will already be there. I do think Golden State's going to win. I thought Golden State was going to win from the start. Honestly, last year was the year I had Houston winning. I do believe when Gary and I talked preseason-wise this year, I had Houston as the team to challenge Golden State. And, I still feel like they are the best team in the West to challenge Golden State, regardless of who plays them in the conference finals. But I think Golden State's going to get it done in 7 games. Harden, I think he's the runner-up to the MVP after winning the MVP. It's a good series. DeMarcus Cousins, this was the series they needed DeMarcus Cousins in, I think. Like, I do think they're going to win it regardless, but what Houston's done when they've won games is they bullied Golden State. And I think DeMarcus Cousins is your equalizer there, like he might fight Sean Elliott.
While you're talking about bullying, this is something that it's a phrase that I actually used earlier this week. Houston is one of the very few teams. For me, I think it's the only team I've seen bully to that level but Houston is the only team I've seen bully Golden State to that level. There's
Well,
not many.
they did it on purpose. This is by design, and we talked about this. We had a category earlier on a podcast that said is Golden State in trouble, and we talked about how we didn't mean they were in trouble as in they couldn't win. We meant are they in trouble as in the rest of the league is catching up. So, Gary and I were going back and forth, and I was talking about how the three ball in the NBA negates stars, and it does. And Golden State's stars obviously can shoot the three. Curry, the best we have ever seen. Klay Thompson, one of the best we've ever seen, and Durant is incredible too. So, but the rest of the league being able to put out a team out there who can just shoot threes negates your stars. But at the same time, when, as Steve Kerr would say, you got a bunch of linebackers. You got PJ Tucker. Eric Gordon's a good defender. Eric Gordon's a bulky guy. You've got these guys running into you. Kenneth Faried, high intensity, high energy. You're cutting me the fuck off, kid. No, I'm just kidding. But
whoa! First of all, throttle back. All right, let's. You're like at like here. I need you to be like not even visible on the screen. All right, just what I'm saying is go home. All right, take your toys, leave the sandbox.
I am home.
All right, so you've got Golden State, you've got Denver. All right, so who's going to take home that Eastern Conference championship?
Western Conference is Golden State.
Western, Jesus Christ. All right, Golden State is going to go all the way.
Absolutely.
All right, so if you're going to refer back to our Eastern Conference championship, so who's going to be in the NBA Finals?
I got Golden State and Toronto.
Golden State and Toronto. Okay. You heard it here first. He's locked in for the win. All right, so Gary Freeze, who do you have winning the Western Conference, this playoff between Houston and Golden State, and then follow that up with your Western Conference Finals prediction?
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Andy said, and the conversation that we had in chat is kind of what kind of influences my thought about the whole thing. The league really is catching up with Golden State, and that's kind of how the league usually goes. And it's not just the league, it's every professional sports league. The team figures out a way to win and teams try to replicate. The one great exception might be the Patriots in the NFL, and teams have probably tried and they brought in some Patriots coaches and failed. But it's a copycat league, and that can be said for most professional leagues. The difference that I think exists with Golden State is the talent level with which they can exert their own play style. And they have guys that are all-timers. And you look at Houston, they've got two, guys that are kind of all-timers, but Chris Paul is a different kind of player. So I had to kind of look at what each team brought to the table when it comes to this series. And Houston, surprisingly, is a really good defensive team. And I say surprisingly only because their best player is a severe liability defensively. But what he does on the offensive end negates a lot of that defensive liability. And I look at two players in particular, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. What James Harden does offensively in those switches and how he attacks both Steph and Klay negates what they can do offensively because he works them hard. He doesn't have to play defense. There's four players on the floor at any given time. The way that D'Antoni manages his subs to make up for James Harden not having to give effort on defense. Now you look at what Klay Thompson and Steph Curry are doing defensively, and Steph Curry may not be the best defender in the NBA, but he's a willing defender. And what I mean by that is he puts in the effort. James Harden drains his energy so that on the offensive end, the last couple of games in Houston, both Klay and Steph have been missing shots. And everybody's kind of wondered, where's Steph? Where's Klay? So I think Houston's strategy when it comes to that has been good. I think the home court advantage is what's going to make a difference, though. I think in Oakland, Golden State gets enough calls because we know the NBA has the home court, quote unquote, pseudo advantage, and Houston's gotten to kind of play their style in Houston. I just think that the home court advantage is what's going to make the difference in this series. I think it's going 7. I believe it's going 7 because I think Golden State probably wins tonight. Houston's going to win in Game 6, and we're going to see an epic Game 7 because this is the Western Conference Finals here with these two teams, and I think Golden State's going to take it because they've got the Game 7 home court advantage, and that's the difference to me is the way that a team can manipulate the officiating to their favor when they're at home. So
okay, so you're thinking on the lines of Golden State's going to win this series in Game 7, and then they're going to turn around and win the conference finals, right?
yeah, I just think that neither Denver nor Portland have enough. I think Portland would have had they not had the injury to Nurkic. I think he would have been enough to compete, but I still probably would have taken Golden State though. I just think Golden State or Houston. Now, mind you, Golden State or Houston, whoever wins this particular series has too much for the other two teams in the conference.
All right, so that's fair. So I guess I'm gonna be the only fucking one going this route, but I'm gonna be in underdogs on both. So I'm gonna go Portland and I'm gonna go Houston. I think that DeMarcus Cousins in the end is gonna hurt him. Now there's talk about I think there was talk about him coming back, and if that happens, great.
It would be in the conference finals.
I don't think I could wish enough bad things on DeMarcus Cousins. To put it lightly, like if he was on fire in front of me, I wouldn't piss on him to put him out. But we'll move on from that subject because that in and of itself is a whole podcast episode. So I think Houston's going to take it in 7. I think that I think the Golden State's going to win tonight. I think that Houston's going to win Game 6, and then I think Game 7 is going to go to Houston. I think they're going to pull off the W, partially because, I mean, for fuck's sake, Harden's been able to travel all season long and still get as many points as he's gotten. So,
he's got a fuck ton of frequent flyer miles.
Frequent flyer miles. That man, his basketball shoes got miles, okay? He's got plenty of upgrades to first class. And so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be the underdog contest. It's going to be Houston. It's going to be Portland. I think the Houston's probably going to get the edge just because they're going to be coming fresh off of a competition against who is arguably the best team in the Western Conference. And then I don't think Portland's going to have enough to win it. So I'm going to go Houston, Portland, and then Houston to win the Western Conference Finals to go on and battle Giannis in the East. So that is what I got. But lightning round, let's go into real quick. Big trade rumors, big topics, big players we're talking about happen to be on the same team, KD and Clay. So real quick, I'm going to give you 2 players, Andy, KD, Clay. Where do you see them going if they go anywhere?
I see KD, much like the Kyrie thing from the other podcast. I see KD going to Golden State. I see him staying in Golden State. I think if Golden State doesn't get this done, and if KD doesn't agree to get this done, both parties are mentally fucking inept. It's out of control. So, yeah, KD, Golden State, baby, all day. Gang, gang.
Gang, gang. All right, Gary, where do you think, where are we seeing KD go? Where are we going to see Clay go, if anywhere?
I agree with Andy that if Golden State doesn't keep KD, both parties are inept. That's a good word. I think it's a good fit. However, I don't think it's going to happen. I think KD has soured enough on the fact that he plays second, possibly third fiddle because Draymond's the voice of the Warriors. But Steph is still the face and whatnot. I think I've got Katie and Kyrie going to the Knicks. I just think that they're gonna get together and team up. I've always thought that Katie was eventually gonna go to the Knicks. I thought he was going to the Knicks when he left OKC. Maybe I'm fooling myself. I could be a little bit, but I think Katie ends up with the Knicks with Kyrie and possibly. And we'll save it for another podcast. I'm gonna.
So, and
that.
I said it on the Eastern Conference show. I think that any star that goes to the Knicks is fucking mentally crippled. And I talked about how I thought Kyrie is kind of mentally crippled.
I honestly actually agree with you because I do think that both Kyrie and KD are mentally crippled.
Yes, they are. I think
they're both mentally crippled.
KD less so than Kyrie because Kyrie thinks the earth is flat. But KD, here's my thing with KD is KD is kind of a pussy, I think. So I think he likes to win a lot, and I don't know if he would go to the Knicks, but I think he's weird.
Yeah.
But listen,
I think here's
my thing. Here's my thing where I disagree with you though, Gary, is I think that KD has established himself at this point. Like there was never any doubt in my mind, or I always refer to basketball Twitter because there's like a basket, like an NBA Twitter that exists out there. And these people all know that Kobe Bryant is not the second best player of all time for you guys out there. But these people...
Well, you have to reinforce he's also not the first because those people out there might think he's the first.
Right. These people all knew, too, that coming into this situation when KD left OKC, that he was now the best player on Golden State. As much as, like, the NBA populace, like these people, these fucking stans, wanted it to be Kyrie still because Kyrie was popular, and the Golden State fans who loved Kyrie. But KD has taken over. He's the best player on the team. And I think that actually it's becoming a little more mainstream. So you hipsters feel free to jump off the train. But I think people are starting to understand that KD is the alpha there. Curry's great. I love Curry. I mean, no to insult to Curry. I mean, if you have to be second fiddle to KD, fuck, why not? I mean, Pippen could have been great on a lot of teams and could have been an all-timer all day.
Well, I think at the end of the day, Curry's got enough to deal with. I mean, his wife's over there bitching. She's not getting enough man.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just sliding that DMs.
I
tried to slide that bitch's DMs earlier.
Hey,
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
You know what? I think we should all do her a service and slide in her DMs and just let her know real quick, like, hey, I'm just sliding in your DMs to let you know you're not on my radar, but I appreciate the thirst. So I'm gonna send me your address so I can mail you a bottle of water, you thirsty ass bitch. Let's move on.
I think she's hot as fuck.
Hey, that makes one of us. Excellent. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move into our salute to service. So our salute to service for this episode is going to go to Specialist Jackson Johnson. He passed away March 7th, 2019 during Operation Spartan Shield. He was 20 years old from Hillsborough, Missouri, and he passed away in a vehicle collision in Kuwait. So if you watched our last episode, he was also involved in the same accident that we lost Miss Holly in as well. So for that, this episode is dedicated to you, Specialist Johnson. We have the watch.
20's too young, baby.
Absolutely. And so we've just wrapped up episode 15. We did it. We did 2 episodes in a night. That's the most we've done in a few months since February 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So closing arguments about the Western Conference playoffs and or finals. Gary, what do you got?
I hate to continue to think that it's Golden State and everybody else because of the way Houston's played them, but I think this year more than last year, home court really has meant something. However, last year, home court really did mean something until Chris Paul got hurt. So I don't think Golden State is as bulletproof as we expected them to be coming into the season. Just basing it off of last year with Chris Paul going down really being the difference in the last 3 games of that series. But again, I think with home court, Golden State's going to win this series and win the conference finals and then face Milwaukee in the finals.
Well, I'm going to simply say that Houston is going to go to the finals for the West. And I'm going to say that Giannis and the Bucks are going to go to the finals for the East. And we will have to get to – I'm going to give my prediction in a later episode on who I think will win the NBA Finals. Should
save it.
Get in. So, Andy, what do you got?
We'll have our NBA Finals show. I mean, we're going to get that. I want to shout out the fact that it's the end of an era. No LeBron James. Not only in the finals, but in the playoffs.
9 years in a row, right?
I'm not mad at that era, honestly.
Here's the thing. I like LeBron James. I'm a LeBron James fan, but I'm not upset that there's no LeBron James. It's different. It's a little weird to not see him.
I think we need to do a whole show on LeBron.
We could do a whole show. Here's my real closing argument, though.
I think the problem is that everyone does a fucking show on LeBron. That's like the last thing we need. We went to playoffs without LeBron.
So instead, here's what we'll do.
My God.
We'll do a show about LeVar Ball.
Never lost.
In the early 90s, Ice Cube said he fucked around and got a triple-double. And watch the Denver Nuggets.
Yes! I'm so glad you brought that up. That makes my fucking night complete.
Watch the Denver Nuggets fuck around and get an NBA Finals trip. Like, watch it happen. Watch me doubt them all the way to the promised land.
Watch him fuck around.
Littlefoot was looking for tree stars, and he found those bitches. And
those are two phenomenal fucking.
You know what though?
In like 45 seconds.
You know what though? Them Denver Nuggets, if they get that W on the conference final and on the NBA Finals, they're not going to be off the Henny. And that's word to J.R. Smith. They're going to be
word to J.R. Smith.
They're going to be off the bud, and that's word to Colorado legalization, my guy.
Legal.
Yikes, dude! If they're off of that wacky tobacco, Jesus, what are we going to do with life? So, with that being said, I think we'll bring this episode to a close. That was episode 15 of the Backyard Blitz, brought to you by Black. What? Oh, okay, 15. I said Blackyard Sports. I'm just trying to play that off like I didn't mean to say that.
We're being inclusive.
Maybe it's Brownyard Sports. Maybe I didn't water my grass, but it's Backyard Sports.
Maybe.
And here we are, Backyard Blitz. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you in episode 16 when we cover the NBA Finals. I'm way too drunk to finish this fucking episode.
Oh, Colonel Sanders is way too drunk to taste
this chicken.
God damn.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, I'm out. I gotta go.